I'm Alexis.
And I'm Tiffany, and we're the hosts of Legit KidLit, a video series where we get to see into the secret and silly lives of authors and illustrators.
We love to celebrate and promote books, but most of all, we want to say hey to all you readers out there trying to find that right book for you. We hope that you can find some new reads after today.
We have one of our past draw-off participants here to celebrate the release of her new book.
Welcome, Mirka. We're so excited to celebrate your new book.
Hi, thanks for having me. So my name is Mirka and I'm a picture book author and an illustrator, and I just had my very first author illustrated book come out, and it's called Mossy and Tweed, Crazy for Coconuts, and this is what it looks like. And it's the story of these two bickering gnomes that live in Gnome Woods, and one day they find a coconut, or maybe a coconut finds them. And they don't know what it is, but they happen to see the tag on the coconut and they think that there's a beach inside of it. And so they go on a quest to try to crack the coconut, and a lot of oopsie daisies happen.
What is one strategy you use to get a new idea?
So how do I come up with ideas? Well, a lot of times it's kind of a random idea. I'll just have like one thing that pops in my head, and then I will usually try to combine it with something else. Like I'll have an idea for a funny characters or a funny like a scene or something like that. And then what I usually try to do is I kind of vet it to see if it's a novel enough idea, and if it feels like it's kind of like an idea that's been done before, or a character or a scene that's been done before. I usually try to think of how do I turn it upside down, or how do I change the location, or could I change the character so it's something that it would turn it into a new kind of, more exciting idea than something that's been done before. And then I kind of start running with that, and I start adding, a little bit of here and a little bit of there. And that's kind of how it goes. It just kind of gets molded around, and things get taken out and new things get put in, and that's kind of how my books are formed.
Who or what has been the biggest influence on you?
It's really hard to pinpoint kind of one specific influence for my work. I feel like it's kind of a mashup of a bunch of things. I have 3 kids of my own, and we I have 2 kind of older kids and then one that's 4, and we read a lot of books in the last, over a decade. And I feel like, those experiences that I've had with my kids, we really like kind of funny stories by Adam Rex, Matt Barnett, Amy Sauer, Tara Lazar, the experiences that we had reading those books together and doing all the different voices and, acting the books out as you're reading them, and letting the kids, fill in different things, like the parts of the story or the words that they knew. Reading those books made me want to do that too. And so they were kind of like reading those books made me feel like I want to do that too, and I want to do that for kids. And so now when I'm thinking about new ideas, my target is the kids. How can I provide those kinds of moments for kids and their parents with the books that I write? So I guess that would kind of be my biggest influence and the driving force of the kinds of books that I create.
What's your favorite media you use to create?
My favorite media to create would probably be my iPad, just because it is so easy I can sit on the couch downstairs or bring it in my studio, or if we're traveling, I can bring it with me and draw wherever I feel like, even if we're on an extended stay with my parents or something like that. And so that's probably my favorite thing because I use it the most, and it's very easy. And then probably my next favorite thing as far as work goes is my computer. I'm mostly working digital these days. I also do stuff by hand with watercolors and things like that, but it seems like the current books, all that I'm using, everything ends up being drawn digitally.
What was your favorite book when you were young?
So I don't remember having one like specific book that I wanted to read over and over again, but I do remember I liked Richard Scarry, and then there was this series called Barbapapa, and this is actually one of my books from when I was a kid. It's in Finnish. I grew up in Finland and my mother tongue is Finnish. But these Barbapapas, they are these creatures that can transform their bodies into whatever shape, and just the whimsy and the imagination. They would always have these crazy adventures, and they're able to, so in this adventure, the town kids were sad because the circus didn't stop in their town because their town was so little. So then the Barbapapas decided to make their own circus, and they transformed into all the rides, and they had a theater. They made their own theater, and so in every book, it was just, when you're a kid, and it was just so much fun to imagine, what it would be like if you could, change yourself, transform yourself into any kind of shape that you wanted, or a character or an animal. And so they were definitely my favorite series of books. We had a bunch of them, and incidentally, my kids also love these books, and so this is one of my old books, and then they started reprinting them, so we have a lot of the reprinted old books, and we read them with my kids a lot too.
Can you share a favorite page from your book? We can't wait to see it.
It's so hard to figure out what the favorite page of this book was. I had to kind of flip through. I had to flip through a while to kind of figure out the answer to this question, and I think in the end, the page that won was this one. And I think why I like it so much. Let's see if we can glare off of it. I think I like it because it shows kind of a different angle, because it's shown kind of top down, and then in the third panel, it's showing us the gnomes entering into the village of these little pixies, and it's just showing you kind of some new areas in the forest and new angles, and I guess that's why that ended up being my favorite one. But I also love the ones where the gnomes are bickering and all the action, so it was a tough choice.
What is your favorite animal to draw?
My favorite animal to draw it used to be horses. I used to draw horses all day long, every day when I was a teenager. But I think now that I'm older, I really like drawing birds. And I'm not sure, but birds are just pretty, and they have feathers, and I feel like they're interesting things to draw. So usually I draw birds.
If you could be any animal, what would you be?
So if I could be any animal, I would probably be a crow or some kind of a bird. I was thinking crow because they're a little bit bigger, so they wouldn't get eaten up as much as like a sparrow or something. And I think they're pretty smart, and they can also talk. So I think it would be kind of fun to be a crow.
What are some of the resources on your website for teachers to use?
So if you go to my website, you can go under the header books, and I have all my current and upcoming books kind of listed on there, and I've also posted little descriptions. There's links to buy, and if I've gotten any kind of reviews, I've posted the reviews over there too. And then from the subheading, there is also a printable section, and then I've added, for all the books that I have out, I've added all the free downloadable, printouts and activity pages that I have for everything. Those are all linked on my website too. And so for Mossy and Tweed, I've actually added quite a lot of resources. So there's just a few different kinds of mazes that are at different skill levels, kind of K through 2nd grade. And then I have some coloring pages and scissor skills. And then there are a few worksheets on story structure, and for, easy to a little bit harder grades K through 2. And then I also have math activity pages where it's bigger or smaller numbers. And then I think I had an addition one in there too.
And finally, finish this sentence. Readers who like blank will love my book.
Readers who like the series PB&J and, the Bruce the Bear series, those readers would also like Mossy and Tweed Crazy for Coconuts.
The Gnomes, thank you so much for joining us here today on Legit KidLit.
Thank you so much. Bye.